secretly consuming too much.
Are you eating enough to be the size that you are?
I
Definitely.
eat healthy things. I
you know
just
what?
don't know.
She don't really look that overweight. I say she looks probably about normal, but I don't know, it depends. Like,
Where I'm going wrong.
I don't know how tall she is.
It mystifies me that I have gained so much weight so quick.
I'm not
It
one
doesn't
of the
look that
worst
overweight
eaters
either.
out there. Most of the time I'm good.
Today we're discussing yet another episode of Secret Eaters, the show that proves if you're gaining weight, it's because you're eating too much. That's it. There's no other reason, you're just eating too much food, which is a very good thing.
You know, it's all about calories in, calories out, and everybody's different. Some people need maybe 1,500 calories to maintain their weight. Some people may need, like, I don't know, maybe 2,000 calories to maintain their weight. It depends. Depends on a lot of things, like how tall you are, how muscular you are, yeah, and stuff like that. So
because it means we're not doomed. Season after season, Secret Eaters brings in people who think that they're eating super healthy or not much.
what's her stats?
Season
Now,
after
she's
season,
overweight.
Secret Eaters brings in people who think
5'7". I say that's probably average for a woman. What does that say?
that they're eating super healthy or not much at all,
I don't understand why I'm this big, because I don't eat that much.
only to prove to them
Okay.
that they are eating much, much more than they think.
On Saturday alone, I can't believe this, nearly 7,000 calories.
Dang,
in
go
one
on.
day.
The culprit? Mindless eating. Eating without even realizing it. Eating on autopilot.
That's
Seems kind
crazy.
of
Like, how can you eat and not get full like that? Like, bro, I eat, I don't know, maybe like 800 calories, maybe a meal, and dude, I'm stuffed. Like, I can't eat anymore.
insane, but many of us do this from time to time. We don't notice the cluster of bad eating habits that we build up over time. Habits we repeat day in and day out, and then suddenly we find ourselves zoned out and munching without a second thought. And today's couple is a pretty extreme example of this. They sincerely believe they eat healthy, mostly veggies, and they think if anything, they're not eating enough.
I don't think I eat the amount that my body is showing.
I would say some days I don't have enough food, yeah.
But is that true?
Well,
I guess
I
we'll
mean, y'all
have to wait
definitely
and
look
see.
like y'all
And
eat
as a little bonus,
enough.
today's episode might just be the most British episode ever made.
She comes round, she always have a packet of balms with her.
He has bought.
What the heck is a barm? Or bam? What does she say?
Made.
She comes round, she always have a packet of balms with her.
Bams?
He has bought a
What is a
chip
bam?
balm.
Can't believe you
Chip-
got me at the carvery.
chip
I know I'm
bar?
getting bigger because I can't pass my cakes.
Before we get into it, this video is sponsored by me and my behavior change course, How they want to be healthier for their 2 young children, but they seem to just keep gaining weight. However, this couple thinks they may know the reason why.
Are you eating enough to be the size that you are?
No, I don't think we're eating enough.
Yes, this couple believes that their weight gain may be due to the fact that they are not eating enough. Paul
They
is a
definitely
bus
are
driver,
eating
so
enough.
according to him, he can't eat at all until he gets home from work. And Emma is busy all
Well,
day watching their children.
That doesn't
And
matter. Like, you can still eat, like, over your maintenance calories in one meal. Like, you can eat a lot in one meal.
she's certain that she couldn't possibly be overeating either. She said she doesn't eat her first meal until mid-afternoon
Does she
and then
work?
eats practically nothing until her husband gets home.
It just doesn't sound like you're eating that much.
No, not really.
Now,
Yeah,
if you're watching this,
they
you
might not
already
be
know
eating
that there is no way that
A
this
lot of volume, I guess, but they can eat high calorie dense foods and still gain weight.
is true. But for some reason, this really is a myth that just won't die. But the idea that you can be overweight
that
and
myth's
gaining
stupid.
weight because you're not eating enough is a false one. What's happening instead usually looks something more like this. What I eat on a typical day: 1 bowl of cereal, 2 simple lunch, 3 slice of pizza, 4 tons and tons of snacks I absentmindedly eat and totally forget about.
Yeah.
I'm so full, but I didn't eat much today. I wonder why. A true mystery.
I'd say
This
snacks
is
are
my
probably Snacks are probably number one for most people. Like maybe you don't eat that much food, but you eat like you're a big snacky, I guess. Like you will still gain weight if you're overeating your maintenance calories.
Mindless eating. Mindless eating is when you snack or eat without really noticing. You're not thinking about it. You're just grabbing food out of habit, like reaching for chips while watching TV or nibbling on something while scrolling on your
People
phone.
just don't-
There are really two main types of behaviors that we
just
all
don't know how to
have.
snack
Number
right.
one, automatic behaviors. These are like autopilot mode. They happen without much thought. You just do them, like brushing your teeth or unlocking your phone. And number two, thinking behaviors. These require awareness and effort, like solving a problem or deciding what to cook for dinner. Mindless eating falls into the automatic category. It's something we do without paying much attention, which is part of what makes it so difficult to stop. And that's why bringing awareness to eating habits that you want to change is really sort of the first step. The opposite of
It's hard. It really is hard. But I mean, you can still snack healthily. Like you can mindlessly eat healthy, I guess. Like you can eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, you know, and that's going to be better for you.
Mindlessness is mindfulness, which is a mental state of being conscious or aware.
And soda. Man, people don't realize, but soda and like sweet tea and like other stuff like that, man, it's got a lot of sugar. And I always recommend to people, try diet soda, try unsweetened tea. Like it tastes very similar in my opinion. That's what I drink. It's got 0 calories in it. Yeah, you can argue that it's got like arsenic in it, but bro, what's worse? A little bit of arsenic or becoming overweight? I don't know. It's like you gotta weigh your poison, you know?
Focused on the present moment. When we're distracted or otherwise not fully paying attention to what we're doing, we typically revert back to our more automatic behaviors. This mindlessness leads us to doing whatever is our default. And when it comes to Emma and Paul,
bus driver Paul's weight has driven up at an alarming rate, while stay-at-home mum Emma is sure her diet isn't to blame for the bulge.
Paul hasn't weighed himself in a while, but he's pretty sure he's gaining weight.
Because I can't fasten my kicks.
And when he steps on the scale, he's surprised to find that he's gained 24 pounds in just a few months.
Well, darling, I'm sorry, but you're 16 stone.
And in Emma's case, she's really gained a lot in a short period of time, and it's making her very unhappy. But just a few years ago, this wasn't really the case. But since she's become a stay-at-home mom, her weight is totally out of control, according to her. And Emma really doesn't know where to go from here. She's tried diet after diet, and in her words, she's followed them to a T.
Exercising, I'd stuck to it religiously.
To the point that she says,
I want some proper scientific reason why I'm not losing weight.
But when Emma steps on the scale, we see that whatever she's been doing hasn't been working for her.
You're 19 and a half stone.
That's not too bad, is it?
But I think we need to stop and discuss something quickly.
What is 19 and a half stone? Like, what is that? Alright, that's pretty big for 5'7". And what did the other guy? What was he? 16? I feel like that's okay. Or did it say 17? I mean, that's 17's getting up there, but like if it said he's 16, that's not too bad, you know? Like that's I think I'm like 180-ish, and I'm
honor
like
of
5'10".
the most British episode of Secret Eaters.
And he's
I
like
think it's
6
time we
foot something,
finally
I
looked
think
up
he said.
why the heck British people weigh themselves in terms of stones. I looked it up, and Britain has a very weird weighing system overall. They
Yeah.
measure most things via the metric system, so in kilograms, but not everything. And when it comes
Yeah,
to
but
putting their
metric is
bodies on
okay,
a
it's
scale,
just like
they've
the
chosen to use
pounds,
stones and pounds instead of just pounds or just kilograms
Like,
or
what is
even
stone?
stones and kilograms, since they weigh most things in kilograms. I just don't get it. You guys weigh everything else in terms of kg. Why are you weighing yourselves in terms of stones and pounds? So
Yeah,
I
that
looked it
doesn't
up,
really
and
make
this is what I
sense, does
found.
it?
Back in the day, people would in fact weigh goods like bags of grain or livestock in terms of how many rocks they were. This went on for centuries. First, it was just a bunch of rocks that were relatively the same in size. But then a series of laws were passed in like medieval times in Britain that said a stone must be 14 pounds. And then all these
Okay.
special weighing rocks were made to equal exactly. She might be eating a little bit more than she thinks.
She was a size 16 when I first met her. It does seem a little bit strange to me that she's put so much on. But is she eating when I'm not here? We don't know that, do we?
But what Paul doesn't realize is that she is not the only one who's lying to themselves about how much they're eating. When the show follows them, they find some slight
Yeah, he's
discrepancies
probably
between their totals and reality. Starting with Paul. According to Paul, his diet is made up of mostly fruits and vegetables, and he loves them.
Okay,
Now,
that's
Paul,
good.
I want you to tell me how much you love vegetables.
Fruit, oranges, apples, bananas, eat all that. All the stuff, all the proper stuff that you need.
That's good.
Labs.
Usually most overweight people hate freaking fruit and vegetables. Now, he's obviously probably putting a lot of something on those vegetables and fruits, like maybe cream cheese or something, or maybe he's just lying. I don't know.
Absolutely love fruit and veg.
And technically, the very first meal that the cameras catch the couple eating is vegetable based. And it's funny,
That's good.
as Paul is preparing his meal, he remarks that he's eaten so little recently. And what's that he's eating? A cheese stuffed jacket potato. Bust out your Secret Eaters bingo because we already have a jacket potato, aka apparently the most iconic British meal of all time. Hard to tell exactly what's on that jacket potato, but Paul clearly
blame
has
him.
a
Looks
ton of
good.
cheese, some onions. I think that's a tuna.
Bro, dude, why that much, bro? Like, potatoes aren't bad for you, but all that cheese is terrible. And what is that,
A
chicken?
salad right there, which is tuna plus
Oh, tuna on a baked potato is kind of weird, but okay. So, he could have used multiple baked potatoes, non-fat cheese on all of them, no butter, and honestly, the tuna's probably not got that many calories in it. Maybe if, I don't know, maybe he mixed mayonnaise in there. I don't know. It depends. Some people are different. But you could use like light or non-fat mayonnaise. And dude, it'd be so much healthier. And it tastes almost exactly the same.
mayo usually. And I mean, I don't think this is particularly unhealthy or anything, but it's probably way more calories
Yeah.
than he thinks it is. If you were a man aiming to eat around 2,000 calories a day and you had 3 square meals with no snacks in between, each meal would have to come in around 650
Which
calories.
is a lot.
A large
Like, that's
potato
a
like
lot.
this is something like 267 calories for 400 grams. Then you
Yeah.
have at least 30 grams of cheese here. That's 121 calories.
That's a
Then
lot.
let's
Like,
say
you could
half
cut
a
back
can
on
of
that very easily.
tuna, 60 calories. It's hard to
Which
say
is
how much
okay.
mayo in there, but we'll say 2.5 tablespoons at
Which is a lot.
235.
Like, people don't realize it's the condiments that really get you. Like, bro, she said 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise is 235 calories. Just use light mayo. It'll cut that in half.
Calories. So this meal, just eyeballing it conservatively,
That's a
is
fat
a
potato,
minimum
too.
of 690 calories.
Which is not
Which means
bad.
that unless Paul's other meals were really, really small and he had no snacks in between, he's already off target for the 2,000 calories that he said he consumes. And considering the fact that the camera showed Paul slipping a chocolate bar into his back pocket at the grocery store later on, which is usually around 200 to 250 calories, we already have a bit of evidence to indicate that Paul is eating more than he thinks. As the surveillance cameras and private investigators continue watching Paul, they find even more discrepancies. Paul claims that for lunch he usually has one of these two things.
Paul usually has a butty or a pasty at this time, but today
what?
he's fueling up on a carvery lunch with friends Debbie and Stuart.
Yes, Paul normally eats a butty or a pasty at this time, but he was caught
What
at
is
the
that?
carvery instead. And if none of those
Is that
words
some
made
kind
any
of
sense to
pastry?
you, same. I looked them up, and apparently a butty is just a sandwich made with butter and other
What?
ingredients. A pasty is like a little, I think it's like a handheld meat pie. And as far as I can tell, a
What?
carvery is like an all-you-can-eat roast beef dinner. So this man purely eats the most British sounding food anyone could possibly
Yeah,
find.
like, I've never
And at the
even heard
carvery,
of
the cameras
those.
catch Paul loading up on some other British delights. There they find him piling his plate high with quote-unquote Yorkshire pud,
Yorkshire pud,
meats,
What is that?
vegetables, and 11 roasted potatoes.
Yo, wait. Oh, hang on, bro. What did she say to start with?
Yorkshire pud,
Yorkshire pud,
meat,
A Yorkshire pud. What the heck is that?
eats vegetables and 11 roasted potatoes. Actually, never mind, he goes back after a few minutes and ends up with 16 potatoes in total. At some point, the show says that in the potatoes and oil that the potatoes were cooked in alone, it was like 2,000 calories or something.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, dude, that's way... Bro. It's disappointing.
Something.
The same number of calories as you'd find in this sticky cake.
All of it?
All of it.
But hey, not
They're
like you go to
crazy.
the buffet every day. Maybe 2 plates piled high is a rare occurrence for Paul. Except no, his friend confirms that this is his usual serving and he gets this a lot.
It was Paul's normal portion, really.
W friend.
Okay. It was
W
the
friend.
heaped plate. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't. No, it was big. And then afterwards, he went back for some more roast.
Anyway, according to Paul, he has no time at all to eat during the day. But after the carvery, he actually had time to stop off at home and get another chocolate bar. And then also had time mid-shift to stop off at the Chippy.
And he has bought a chip bomb. Chip sandwich in a bun.
Oh,
So
what?
this is a...
Bro, and people hate on Americans for having, like, fast food and, like, I don't know, just, like, us being obese. What the heck? Fries on a sandwich? Dude, that is, like, that's so weird to me.
sandwich of French fries and what appears to be quite a bit of butter between 2 buns. Yet another extremely British food. How many words does this country have for sandwich?
But...
Wouldn't this show be so good if they did it around the world? Imagine like Secret Eaters India. And that's not all for Paul. When he finally arrives home from work, he grabs 2 cracker and cheese sandwiches, another chocolate bar, and a little bag of potato chips. Now, in reality, that day he technically
ate, man. Like, bro, you already ate enough.
Ate 3 meals and some snacks, unless you count the second plate of carvery as another meal, which we probably should because it was meal-sized. But because every meal was very high in calories, according to the dietitian, he actually consumed around 5,000 calories that day,
Dude,
which
that's
is a lot.
5,500 calories.
Bro, he don't even know what to think, man.
Crazy for a guy who claimed.
I absolutely love fruit and veg.
And also,
I would say some days I don't have enough food, yeah.
clearly each day Paul is eating much more than he thinks he is. Partially because he doesn't really know how many calories are in what he's eating, but also because he's clearly giving very little consideration to what he's actually consuming. He's sort of just putting the easiest meal he can find in his mouth with little to no thought about how it
I
might
feel like
impact
that's
his
most
health.
people.
And he's also doing a ton of his eating in a distracted state. He ate 2 out of 3 of those chocolate bars on the run, which makes it
It's
really
that
easy to
mindless
completely
eating
forget about
that
them,
she,
even though they
talked
probably
about.
would have equaled something like 750 calories for all 3.
And you
Then
know
he's
what's
caught
crazy?
eating
I haven't seen really any fruits or like, I mean, his potatoes obviously, but there's healthier vegetables than a potato every single meal. Like what are they doing? And look at all that butter that he's putting on these. Like, what are these, pancakes or something? Hash browns? Like, what are these?
4 crumpets with cheese, a potato with cheese, crackers with cheese. Common denominator here, well, first off, cheese. Turns out Paul was
that's
eating 900
cheese.
calories a day in just cheese.
Over the course of a week, same number
And that's crazy. He could use less cheese and non-fat cheese.
of calories as these 74 chocolate biscuits. Just on your cheese.
That's wild.
Sorry, also, the other common denominator that I wanted to mention was that all the food that Paul makes is extremely quick and easy. Paul seems to be eating just kind of whatever's easiest when he gets home
Lot
from
of
work and doesn't seem to really
potatoes.
be thinking about what exactly it is he's consuming. He's making whatever tastes good and is super convenient to him. He clearly does like vegetables, as evidenced by his plate at the carvery, but vegetables take a little bit more prep and a little bit more work that he hasn't done. So when the show shows him the food that he's consumed over the week, his table is all brown and
Gotta
beige
meal prep,
foods.
man.
There's no color in there because there's no fruits and vegetables because they tend not to be the easiest.
Dude, that's really good that they just lay all that food out for him. Like, that really sets the mood, you know? Like, it really wakes people up.
I think that's a big issue that a lot of people run into. Healthy eating tends to come with some like planning and preparing, which is the opposite of mindless eating because it requires a bit of planning and forethought and shopping, and you got to make sure everything is like fresh and then doesn't go bad, and you have to coordinate all these things in order to eat healthy. And once he realizes that his table is all beige, he's really shocked and he doesn't recall eating that way. He totally thought he was a healthy eater.
I never even think about it that way.
So for Paul, not only was he mindless eating in the traditional sense in that he didn't
I believe he can change, but we haven't even started talking about the woman. Like,
really know what he was consuming, but he also wasn't giving enough thought or consideration to his meals. Two kind of different types of mindless eating.
Are you aware of just how much you're
and
eating?
exercise, bro, like, people don't realize, like, just a little bit of exercise goes a long way. And you can do low impact stuff like walking or maybe bicycling, just little stuff like that.
Well, I don't think I do I? Because that's just made me think that.
So Paul admits that he was in fact a secret eater. But what about Emma? Is her weight gain a mystery, or is Emma also a mindless eater? Emma had also been to the carvery with her husband that day, but the cameras caught her eating only 4 potatoes. So no mindless eating there. Then after eating her lunch, it's a full 9 hours before Emma gets her next meal. A big plate of tuna pasta piled high with a side of mayo. The show claims the portion is in total 933
Tuna
calories.
pasta with mayonnaise, bro. What are British people doing? Like, that is nasty. Pasta, mayonnaise, and tuna. Bro, if you're gonna overeat, at least eat something good.
Calories. So even though Emma went so long between her first meal and her second, with a buffet lunch and a 900 calorie dinner, Emma is definitely already over the 1,300 calories that she reported eating on average for the day. But honestly, what she's consumed so far really isn't the issue for Emma. The real issue is her nighttime snacking routine. Emma has a habit of staring off into the fridge or cupboards, in this instance leading her to consume 2 chocolate bars. Okay, staring off to the fridge actually used to be a full-blown hobby of mine, so much so that I actually had to break that habit. And I think that's true for a lot of people. It's the food equivalent of checking your Instagram or your email like repetitively and mindlessly looking for who knows what in there. And it happens for the simple reason that there's food in the fridge and food makes us feel good. And so we turn to it when we need a little pick-me-up, and then eventually this behavior becomes a habit. It's the same thing that happens with pigeons and lab rats when you train them to push buttons to get food. Eventually they will just come over and push the little button at random, hoping to get a little treat when they're bored. And humans are the exact same. We start to learn that boredom equals cue to eat.
Yeah,
in this case,
I agree.
Emma's
Sometimes I do that, and I just now realized, I guess, so.
upward grazing habit also results in her going back for an entire second plate of dinner for an additional 1,000 calories
another
on
plate
top of her day. So yeah, not a great
tuna
day for her
pasta and
calorie-wise.
mayonnaise. Yum.
Apparently between the buffet and the 2 dinners and the chocolate bars, she also managed to eat around 5,000 calories that day.
You got through
That's a
4,500 calories.
But hey, Emma did go to a
And women
buffet.
need less calories, so that's... And she's a lot shorter than the other guy. She's 5'7". Other guy's like 6 foot, I think. That is a lot of calories for a woman.
So maybe this was just a weird day for her, right? The next day, Emma is caught eating potato chips on a walk with her friends.
Is that a big bag of crisps there that she's got?
Bro, why are you walking and eating? Like, what?
In the buggy?
I think it is. It's like a massive bag of crisps.
And then again while standing around at the cupboards, and then again while watching TV. They also catch her eating some crumpets with jam, another British food, and 2 barms, which according to her friend is common practice for her.
She comes round, she always have a packet of barms with her, and meat, plus barms. She's dead.
So I mean, it's not like Emma is spending all day eating fast food, but she's definitely eating much more than she realizes, all thanks to mindless eating. And keep in mind that Emma was convinced that she was eating really healthily and not that much at all.
You know, I do eat healthily, so it is a bit of a loss to me why I'm this big. I don't eat massive amounts.
Yeah,
I
but you
want
eat a lot
some
of
proper
snacks,
scientific reason why I'm not losing weight.
Meanwhile, she was actually eating chips while walking, and that was the closest she came to eating a vegetable.
I've seen people that are 60 and eat
Yeah,
rubbish, and look, well, why
Dude.
ain't they putting weight on like we are?
How you gonna
Maybe
walk
they're more
and
active
just
than us,
enjoy
though.
the
No, I
atmosphere?
don't think
Enjoy
we're eating
just-
enough.
Imagine eating a full bag of
Being
Doritos
outside,
while walking
like-
and then calling the secret eaters team and being like, I don't think I'm eating enough. I think this episode is a perfect example of just how mindless we can be when it comes to our food and how much we're eating. If anyone in your life ever says, I'm gaining weight because I'm not eating enough, please refer them to this show. And it really is incredible how long this myth has made it and how many people believe it. But if there's one explanation for this whole mindless eating thing that can help us change our behavior, it's that when we're running on autopilot, we are essentially unconscious. Not like this kind of unconscious, but just like we are going through the motions and we're not giving any thought to what we're doing at all. There's a lot of stuff we can be doing, a lot of patterns and behaviors we can be repeating without even realizing it. Emma really proves this by not having any idea what she's eating next.
And I feel like that goes with a lot of different addictions, like smoking, you know, overeating, some kind of drugs. Like, it can happen with basically anything.
Jo is showing her footage of herself the week she was being recorded, and she literally can't remember a single thing that she's consumed.
Do we have more?
It seems, watching that, you seem genuinely surprised how often you were eating.
How often I just go in the fridge and
Bro, that is a
look
big
what's
jar of
there.
mayonnaise.
But that's kind of how mindless behavior works. That's exactly how it works. Think about when you brush your teeth. You're really not thinking about what you're doing. You're not focused on it. It's just a habit. You brushed your teeth thousands of times before, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so after so many years and so
Yeah,
many
some
repetitions,
people-
it's become automatic. It's mindless now. The same thing can happen with nearly any
people have
behavior,
some
even
stank
and
breath.
especially eating. You build up certain eating behaviors over time, such as checking the cupboards, and then these eating habits become mindless. In Emma and Paul's case, another factor that makes mindless eating much more likely is the fact that they seem to eat almost all of their meals in front of the TV. And let's take a look at the look on Emma's face. That is clearly some zoned out, mindless.
Dude, what is she eating? Bro, beans, potato, and I guess cheese and tuna again? Like, what is this white glob right here? Is that the inside of the potato?
Mindless eating behavior right there. Paul, too. And in this case, feeling bored is likely acting as a cue, triggering them to snack. Their brains feel bored, their hands are empty, and before they know it, they've wandered off for a snack.
I'm not hungry. I know what it's boredom. I know it.
But there's a real reason that people recommend not eating your food in front of the TV or any other
'Cause you don't even
distraction
realize
for
you're
weight
eating.
management. Dr. Suzanne Higgs and colleagues have shown that memory plays a key role in when, what, and how much we eat. In a series of research studies, participants ate a meal with or without distractions. Participants who watched TV or played video games while eating had poor memory of what they ate. They also ate
Yeah, and
significantly
I-
more at their next meal
I
and
do
felt
that.
more hungry than their non-distracted counterpart.
I feel like a lot of people eat while they watch TV or YouTube, or I guess play video games and other stuff like that. And dude, that's terrible. Like, that really is.
Even if they ate the same amount of food. This is part of why mindless eating often equals overeating. In the end, Lynn Garden shows them what they were eating, and it was a lot more than they thought. As we know, Paul thought he was eating around 2,000 calories a day, but in fact, he was actually eating
4,100 calories a day.
And Emma, who thought she was eating a sparse 1,300 calories a day, was actually eating around
3,500 calories a day.
So Lynn sets them up on a plan, and they actually both crush it. Maybe more so
That's
than
good.
anyone
That's
else
good
on the
that they're
show.
willing to change. Like, most overweight people do not want to change.
They stick to their plan and they both lose weight successfly. Mystery solved. And you can actually tell
I
they're
feel
feeling
like
amazing about it, just
they
their whole
both
vibe. They're
look a
so
lot better.
energetic, excited about the changes that they made.
Portions are definitely smaller.
That's good. Look at all that fruit,
About
man.
it, just their whole vibe. They're so energetic, excited about the changes that they made.
Fruit, bananas, apples, oranges, like, dude.
Portions are definitely smaller and definitely helping and definitely not hungry.
And you feel better. You feel better when you eat healthy.
Chocolate, no crisps, no biscuits.
And Paul's shirt doesn't even fit him. You can really tell that he's lost weight.
Dude,
I got
that's
myself a
great.
small carvery plate and guess how many spuds I had? 3.
It really just goes to show how powerful
I hope it
mindlessness
tells us how much weight they actually lost, or like what weight they are right now.
and the reverse mindfulness can be. The act of simply paying attention is one of the
And
most
that's good for your kid too. Like, I just noticed that they have a kid, and bro, if the parents are fat, the kids are more than likely are gonna end up fat younger, and then they're gonna be very obese later in their life. And that's terrible for their heart and their organs and their bones later in life. Like, gosh, man, So good that
effective
they're changing.
tools for changing your behavior. In fact, mindfulness is a core part of my behavior change course, How to Change. If you want to learn to break your most stubborn bad eating habits, click the link and check it out to join me in the course. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in...
That was a W video. If you liked the video, just make sure hit the like button, subscribe, and check out this woman at Kiana Doherty. I hope I said that right, but thank you guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.